Hello, and today we're going to be discussing how to operate a hand-cranked sewing machine. And to do that, I've got a 1912 Singer model 128 that we're going to use to demonstrate here. And the hardest part of doing this is doing it one-handed because I'm holding a camera. That's how I'm able to make this video here to show you. Okay. So there's a few things that you have to know about in order to do this. When you open a machine up, the hand crank is in the stored position like you see here. You unfold it and clip it back like that. Sometimes when you are having the machine in the stored position, you might have that in the disengaged position too, like this. There's a little finger here that's got a spring index that indexes it either between the spokes or out of the spokes, and that is the drive arm that drives the balance wheel. So you've got to have that in the engaged position to run the machine. And then the other thing you need to know about is the stop motion clutch, and that's located at the center of the balance wheel, and it's a pretty simple affair. You turn it over towards you to disengage the balance wheel from the rest of the mechanism, and it allows you to run the balance wheel free. The reason why you would want to do this is so that you can run the bobbin winder to wind the bobbin for the lower thread. Then when you're ready to actually sew, you rotate the clutch over away from you and tighten it up. It's actually a screw, so it will tighten. When you turn it the other way, it loosens up and then hits a stop to the maximum free position. So you tighten it up, and that allows you to operate the sewing mechanism. Now, one of the problems that I've often encountered when using one of these machines, for the most part, is that oftentimes when you want to stop the machine with the needle all the way up, they have a tendency to want to sort of roll to their own little position there. Gravity takes effects and things just kind of go where they want to go. So I find it convenient to use the bobbin winder as kind of a parking brake. As I'm getting to the point where I want to stop, I slow up, put my hand on the balance wheel, and engage the brake. And now there is more effort required to turn the machine, but I can stop it very precisely where I want it to stay stopped. And then when I'm ready to sew again, and I don't want that extra resistance to the cranking, because every revolution of the crank is 3 turns of the balance wheel, and then every 3 turns of every what is it here? Looks like every 5 or 6 turns of the balance wheel is 1 turn of the bobbin winder's main shaft. So there's quite a bit of resistance there. So disengage the bobbin winder when it's not needed, and then you can very effortlessly run the machine. So that is how you run a hand crank machine. Now, if you're winding a bobbin, you might have a situation where the even though the stopworks clutch is disengaged, you might find as you're running it, as is going on right now, the machine wants to sort of freewheel along because there's enough drag there. As you can see, it's moving along, and I don't even have the bobbin winder engaged. Sometimes that makes it worse, sometimes not. What I find you can do very easily is put the presser foot down, and there is enough friction now because the feed mechanism is wanting to drive that, but the resistance of the feed dogs against the presser foot is enough to stop the mechanism from following along, that it now stays stationary. And of course, this would be a issue if you had the machine all threaded up still while you were winding a bobbin. You would not want it to sit there and continue to freewheel along, because that would result in some tangled up thread. So just put the presser foot down. You're not going to do any damage because nothing is moving, and that allows you to operate the bobbin winder without the rest of the mechanism wanting to follow along with the balance wheel. And then sometimes it will want to stay put on its own. It's just the nature of these things. Alright, so that's how you operate a hand crank machine. Thank you for watching.